One of us will just...
Hi, my name is Daley Williams. I'm a parent at Paderewski Elementary School. I'm here to say that CPS is tearing communities down. They need to start integrating communities before closing schools. I say no to school closing. Ryan Emanuel and Barbara Bennett are the underdogs of this city at this point, and we say no to school closing.
Say your name itself.
Darlene Williams, DarleneWilliams.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Valerie. Okay, sorry.
Say your name and spell it.
Yes, my name is Valerie Leonard, VALGRIE-LEONARD. I'm with the Lawndale Alliance, and we represent all the schools in North Lawndale that are closing. We're very concerned with the manner in which Paderewski is being handled. Paderewski right now is the only school in North Lawndale that draws from both communities, Latino as well as African American. After they close Paderewski, they will have done the borderline such that anyone who's from the north of Cermak who's African American, they'll have to go to Penn School or Crown School, both of which are performing at a lower level than Paderewski. The Latinos on the south side will go to Castellanos, which is overcrowded, or Cardenas, which is overcrowded. So either way it goes, we're in a really, really bad situation. When we look at the other schools north of Cermak, there are 5 schools, and any of those schools that are being closing really are going to benefit AUSL. We look at Pope across the street from Douglas Park. That's going to fold into Johnson School, which is controlled by AUSL. Bethune, which is controlled by AUSL, they're saying on paper that they'll go to Gregory, but we believe that they'll probably be encouraged to go to one of the other AUSL schools. Henson, which is a little bit further west, once they close, half of their boundaries are going to be assumed by another AUSL school. And then when we look at Chalmers, which is also across the street from the park, that will be assumed by AUSL. So when the dust settles, AUSL will control every school in and around Douglas Park, and they will control half of the Henson borders. This is unacceptable. Thank you.
Ready? Yeah. My name is Gabriel Solis. I'm a volunteer at Peabody Elementary in the west side of, it's called West Town of Chicago. And I'm really here today because I told my students about what was going on, that Critical Mass was going to dedicate its route to them, and they were totally elated. I wanted to come and show my support because in a lot of ways at our school, we feel very alienated. I think that CPS has really created a process to alienate us. They don't want us to try to go towards a language of unity. They don't want us to meet with other schools, to meet with other parents, and to join links with the community. And so this is an opportunity for us to defy that. Every block that we ride today is in defiance of CPS's policies. So what I'd like to do now is read you a statement from my 7th graders. It is their anti-closing manifesto. I just read it to the bourgeois press, but they didn't let me read all of it, so I'm going to read you the standard edition. The anti-closing manifesto of the 7th grade class at Peabody Elementary. The 7th grade class at Peabody Elementary rejects the racist school closures announced by CPS. CPS's plans are clearly not worried about the safety of its students. We ourselves are concerned for our safety and do not feel welcome at the school they wish to send us. We therefore say no to all school closures. We, the 7th grade class, say that instead of closing schools, they should help the schools that need help. We say the more schools, the better. Why force us into a few big schools when they can leave us in many small schools? That would give us a better education and more one-on-one time. CPS doesn't care about students or the teachers and staff. Our homeroom teacher has worked with us for years, and now she won't be able to see us graduate. Instead, they force her to give us a test nearly every day. In short, CPS is pissing us off. They are only closing schools in Hispanic and African American communities, and they are led by a guy that has no experience in education. Rahm Emanuel will or ramen noodle, as we like to call him, didn't even come to our hearing or any other hearing. His kids go to private schools, so why does he have a say over our schools? Also, recently CPS has hired counselors to talk to us about dealing with the school closure. Why couldn't they have used that money to keep our school open in the first place? We wouldn't need counselors if they just kept the school open. Finally, we the 7th graders at Peabody Elementary are especially upset because CPS is closing our schools without considering what students think. They are putting money before our futures and destroying the emotional bonds we have with each other. Therefore, Peabody's class of 2014 suggests that we rename CPS, CPSK, Chicago Public School Killer. So, I send a lot of love to my 7th graders, I send a lot of love to the viewers, and I send a lot of love to the people here. Thank you very much.
Well, tell me a little bit more about Peabody School.
Okay.
Where is it located, and what's the community like there?
Peabody Elementary is located between, it's in Westtown, which is between Humboldt Park and Wicker Park. It is a lot of Puerto Rican families, Mexican American families, African American families recently faced a wave of gentrification. There are a lot more condos going up. It's the home of the first Nobles charter school, so a lot of charter schools and a lot of condos. Not very good for your local public school. The school is over 100 years old though. Many of our students, it's right around the block from them. It really is a second home to my kids.
And where will the Peabody students be having to report to?
They're being sent to Otis Elementary, and as I said, a lot of them don't really feel welcome at Otis. They know the neighborhood. They're going to have to cross some gang lines to get there. Some of them cannot go to that school for that very reason. So there's a lot of issues with that school for my students.
So there are safety issues on the children walking the streets to the other school.
They feel so. Their parents feel so, and the students themselves feel so.
I mean, that's in their manifesto, in their words.
Yeah, absolutely. Got it. They're definitely concerned with their safety with the new plan.
Well, what more can you tell me about your situation as a volunteer?
So I'm actually in a volunteer program that I don't think if I would disclose what it is, I could get in trouble. So I'm just saying the word volunteer. I was only supposed to work at Peabody for 1 year, so the closing isn't affecting my livelihood as much as my teachers. But I think I'm just emotionally affected, and I want to be an educator one day. And seeing this is really devastating.
What do you feel about the future of education, of your profession here in the city of Chicago? Are you looking forward to spending your career here in the city of Chicago?
Absolutely not. Right now is a really tough time to try to become a teacher in Chicago. You're facing a massive workforce discipline. I feel like that's a lot of what they're doing. They don't want unionized teachers anymore. I recently visited a charter school to look at it. No one there was over the age of 35. What that spelled to me was that there's no job security there. People are overworked and underpaid, and I'm very uninterested in that kind of environment.
Thank you very much.
Good?
That was great stuff.